This is section 3.1, day 1, graphing and writing inequalities. Our objective today is to graph and write algebraic inequalities. Let's start with our vocab. An inequality is a mathematical sentence that contains an inequality sign. Sometimes it contains a variable. For example, we have x is greater than 2. A solution of an inequality is any value that makes the inequality true. So for example, 6, 8, and 15 are all solutions of x is greater than or equal to 6. Couple reminders. When we solved equations, both sides had to be the same. There was an equal sign in the middle, and we talked about each side being balanced like a scale. In inequalities, one side may be larger or smaller than the other. We now use one of 5 inequality signs, and remember, the alligator eats the bigger number. So for less than, we have A is less than B. This right here is how we write it. We read it as A is less than B. The first number is smaller than the second. And some examples, 4 is less than 8. We know that's true. 1 is less than 9. Also true. And negative 3 is less than 1. For less than or equal to, here's how we write our symbol. A is less than or equal to B. Means A is less than B or A is equal to B. The first number is smaller than or equal to the second. Our examples, 3 is less than or equal to 9. Negative 9 is less than or equal to negative 1. 3 is less than or equal to 3. And negative 4 is less than or equal to negative 4. For greater than, our symbol right there, A is greater than B is how that is read. It means the first number is bigger than the second. So for example, 12 is greater than 8, 13 is greater than 9, and 4 is greater than negative 1. Greater than or equal to is this symbol over here. It means A is greater than B or A is equal to B. The first number is bigger than or equal to the second number. So for example, 73 is greater than or equal to 9. Negative 2 is greater than or equal to negative 8. 3 is greater than or equal to 3. And negative 4 is greater than or equal to negative 4. Our final inequality symbol is not equal to. There's our symbol right there. We read it as A is not equal to B. The first number just is not the same as the second. So our examples, 7 does not equal 5, 2 is not equal to 12, and 5 is not equal to negative 5. So we're going to complete this table with numbers that work. My examples, this first column is less than, a number less than 3, negative 7. Number less than 12, 4 is less than 12. Negative 10 is less than negative 2. And 7 is less than 100. For my second column, that is our less than or equal to. I know that 5 is less than or equal to 5. Negative 8 is less than or equal to 1. Negative 16 is less than or equal to 0. And negative 22 is less than or equal to negative 4. Our third column is greater than. 14 is greater than 12. 100 is greater than 4. 21 is greater than 7, and negative 2 is greater than negative 6. The fourth column is greater than or equal to. 8 is greater than or equal to 4. 13 is greater than or equal to 13. 5 is greater than or equal to 0. And 261 is greater than or equal to 241. And our final column, not equal to. 7 is not equal to 1. 18 is not equal to 3, 21 is not equal to 13, and negative 72 is not equal to negative 14. Now our example, we are going to find whether each number is a solution of x is less than or equal to 2. To do this, we're basically just going to plug in each of the options. So negative 3 is less than or equal to 2. Is that true, yes or no? That is true, negative 3 is less than or equal to 2. For 0 is less than or equal to 2. Is 0 less than or equal to 2? Well, yes it is. So that is a solution, yes. For 2 is less than or equal to 2. Well, 2 is equal to 2, so it works. Yes. And our last one, 4.5 is less than or equal to 2. Well, 4.5 is bigger than 2, so no. 4.5 is not a solution of that inequality. Try this one. Which numbers are solutions of the inequality m is greater than or equal to negative 3? All right, for this problem, we're going to take -8 is greater than or equal to -3. Well, that's not true, so -8 is not a solution. Try -2 is greater than or equal to -3. That actually is true, so yes, that is a solution. And 1.4 is greater than or equal to -3. Well, that is bigger, so yes, that is a solution also. Now for each of these problems, we are going to verbally explain what types of numbers will work, choose 3 numbers that make it true, and 3 numbers that make it false. So let's start with, call this number 1. For number 1, we'll verbally explain what kind of numbers work. This will be any number less than 4. 3 numbers that make it true. We could pick any 3 numbers that make it true. I'm going to choose 0, -1, and 2. 3 numbers that make it false. Again, I could choose any 3 numbers that make it false. I'm going to choose 4, 8, and 162. All right, let's call this one number 2. For number 2, verbally explain what kind of numbers will work. Any number 2 or less. 3 numbers that make it true. 2, let's try 0, and -7. 3 numbers that make it false. 3, 18 makes it false, and 121. All right, third one here. A is greater than 9. So verbally explain what types of numbers will work. Any number more than 9. 3 numbers that work. Let's go with 10, 16, and 1,000. 3 numbers that do not work. 9, -7, and 0 do not work. For the fourth one here, A is greater than or equal to 6. What types of numbers will work? Any number 6 or more. 3 numbers that work. 6, 11, and 200. 3 numbers that do not work. 5, -8, and 0. And for our last one, let's call that number 5. What types of numbers work? Any number besides 1. So 3 numbers that work. 8, 12 works, and -7. We cannot list 3 numbers that make it false because there's only 1. Just 1 makes it false. All right, for each of these, please figure out which ones are solutions of the inequality. Try this on your own. All right, for the first box, x is less than 4. -2 is less than 4, and 0 is less than 4. The second box, x is greater than or equal to 8. 12 is greater than or equal to 8, as is 8. The other 2 do not work. Third one, x is greater than 0. 1 works, and that is the only one. X does not equal 14. 1, -5, and -14 all work. And x is less than or equal to -4. -8, -4 are the ones that work. Here's your assignment.